A very happy birthday indeed, but to switch lanes a bit, it's an everyday habit to say that we just need a little bit of peace and a little bit of quiet. Now, what if you grew up in a neighborhood where there is no peace and never has been since you were even born? Now, before you can seek it or even achieve it, you first need to learn what that word actually means. And that is the starting point for the Peace Ambassadors Initiative, supported by the human rights group Community Chess, whose groundbreaking work makes them this week's Mandela Monday heroes.
In my community, you never know when shots might get fired. It's a very hard place to live in because kids here grow up actually to experience violence firsthand, even if it's not by friends of theirs or family members, could even be by people who they never knew. It just happens in this area. I'm Ridwan Samuels, I'm 19 years of age and I'm from Overpoort.
The Peace Ambassadors Initiative holds creative writing classes to help young people like Ridwan write about their lives in a book of collected stories they hope to publish. It celebrates and frees their voices and is a departure point for counseling and moving forward.
In September of 2018, I was shot 4 times. The guy approached me from behind and he fired 2 shots into my back, which just missed my spinal cord and it hit me in my liver and my kidney. And as I turned, he shot me in my arm and then in my leg and then he just fled the scene. And after that, my work with the Peace Ambassadors improved dramatically because I used what I went through towards what I am busy with now and I incorporated it with each other so that I put my own understanding of peace and my own understanding of violence into the work as a Peace Ambassador. Our aim of the Peace Workshop are to try to encourage the youth and the adolescents from this generation to find the value in peace and the value that peace has within our lives and to instill hope in the lives of them and in the lives of everyone else.
Written by 14 to 35-year-olds, the stories go into a book which Professor Brian Williams aims to see stocked in libraries, universities and bookshops across the world.
What motivated me around the Peace Ambassador program and its design is that I work across Africa with former child soldiers, but one of the things that I noticed was that unless we recognize that ideas are powerful, and if we can shift the idea of violence to an idea of peace, it will also impact on behavior. And so your true center of almost contestation between violence and peace is in the mind, it's in how people reason. And therefore, peace education becomes important, and so we focus on the idea of peace, and our approach is to get young boys and girls to create new knowledge. So we ask them to define what peace is, and based on their understanding of peace, we then say, okay, that is your understanding of peace. How would you implement it in your life and in the lives of others?
Life is the most unpredictable story and can change at any moment. These changes come with all sorts of obstacles, but how you face those obstacles will determine the type of person that you are.
We have stories, we are living libraries, and young people in particular need to have their stories heard, their voices reflected across the world, but it's also linked to creating positive role models, because within schools, within communities, it's so important that young people also see that they don't have to wait. They already are at the point of greatness. It simply has to be reflected, and so it can be reflected through stories, and we make it easy, 850 words.
My story is about my life, all the obstacles I've went through until now, and I would like to tell the others out there that there is hope no matter what you're going through in life. You must never give up on yourself.
We basically focus on peace and mediation and how to apply peace in your own life, in your own community, within your school or your environment. And the mediation is how to mediate on an issue or solve a problem.
It has made me change my mind on how I view life, to have certain changes on how I want in the future generation, not only now, on how I want the world to be like.
All I have to say to the youth in our communities are not to lose hope for a better future and to know that peace is affecting all of our lives and that we can strive, but not without peace and hope in our lives. It takes no less than one person to start the revolution of positivity. Hope and peace, but it all starts with you and the choices you make as a person that will determine the outcomes of your struggles towards finding peace and bringing about hope to those surrounding you. By spreading the message of peace and hope, you are influencing not just this generation, but many generations to come, as the message of peace lives forever through the presence of hope. Thank you.
This collective of 50 peace writers will soon have mentors to guide them through this journey towards finding peace and even potential careers in writing.